Hello, I'm Catherine from Peace Etc., and I guide people who grew up in mentally and emotionally unstable homes become safe and secure in themselves and improve their self-esteem and self-worth in ways that last. So this is another video about my mom and what I've learned from our relationship. And today I'll be talking about how I idealized a version of her that didn't exist, and how that kept me from seeing the person, the human, with her shadow and light right in front of me. So my mom has a hard time connecting with her emotions. She's very big-hearted, very caring, and also logical. I think she has a good balance, but she doesn't really connect with her heart and let herself feel. And so I don't remember really being empathized with her, by her. Whenever I would go to her, whether it be the difficulties or challenges I was having as a mixed kid in a predominantly Japanese environment, or whatever it was. I would go to her looking for emotional support, and she would just not be able to understand and tell me so, or she would kind of downplay it. She didn't know how to really empathize with me. And now I know that she has a hard time empathizing with herself. But as a kid, I just felt rejected and that I was wrong for experiencing situations and, the way I did and for feeling the way I did. Or I would want to be emotionally connected to her. And as a kid, I'd be playing and I want to show her something that I created, for example, but she would be busy, reading the paper or working or something like that. And I just remember feeling very let down in moments that I wanted to connect with her, that she wasn't available. And so I kind of built that connection with myself, but I never felt very emotionally intimate with my mom. So I idealized this version of my mom that was very nurturing emotionally and caring and would also show affection. My mom's Japanese. She's not very touchy. She doesn't really do hugs. She doesn't really give compliments out. And she would also focus on what to improve on, because that's the way she is. She would usually tell me what I can do better. I didn't really grow up feeling like she acknowledged my effort or what I was doing well. It was mostly like, oh, okay, so what you can do more of. Yeah, and that did make me sad, quite sad often. And I remember feeling disappointed. And at a certain point, I did close my heart off to her and said, okay, I'm just not going to show it because I don't want to be so rejected and disappointed anymore. So I did create a version of a mom that I wish I had. And I had this idealized version of my mom or a mother figure. And whenever a friend's mom would be close to this version, I really envied that friend. And I would get close to the mom. But I had this idealized version of my mom with me, even as I was relating to my own mother. And so when I had this idealized version of my mom and I wasn't accepting my mom, I didn't see what my mom was providing me. She might not have been good with emotions, the nurturing aspect of things, um, to provide compassion and empathy. And also, too, when we're in our inner child, we can see the world very black and white. So even if my mom wasn't able to empathize all the time, she was able to empathize, time to time. It wasn't always, but our inner child thinks in always or never. It's very extreme. So, what was I gonna say? So, when I had the idealized version of my mom with me, I wasn't seeing my mom for all that she was providing. That. And also the context that even though she was exhausted from a full time job and making sure that we had food on the table and that we lived a very comfortable life, she was the breadwinner of my family, and that I got to go to a very good school, play sports, learn music, play music, go to games, and do well academically, had a tutor, like, and take music lessons, and I was getting to do what I wanted to do. And also, like, as a family, we could go on trips, go for dinners, go for lunches, experience life, go to concerts. Like, even though she was providing in ways that just because that didn't fit with how I wanted to be provided by my mother or a mother figure, I couldn't accept the way she was providing for me, the way that she was showing me love. It was only through inner child healing where I realized, oh, okay, she might not be the idealized version of a mom that I wanted her to be, but she was really trying her best with what she could, and she was providing for me. She was showing me love. She was giving me love. Inner child healing allowed me to understand her language, because it was like we were speaking in two completely different languages. And putting this idealized version of a mom to the side, I could see my mom clearly for who she was. Let me see. Yeah, and so when I was so attached to this idealized version of my mom, who my mom would never become, I was so focused on lack rather than what I had. Okay, so I said what I wanted to say. And this applies to life in general, When you're so focused on an idealized version of how you want your life to be, how you think your life should be, then you're in a lack mindset. You're more focused on that rather than what you have in the present moment. Of course, dream big, dream of what you want to have, but be grateful for what you have. And I can say that because I wasn't grateful for what I had. And it's through really deeply going very deep in myself through inner child healing that I realized, oh my God, my mom was so supportive of me. My mom was so unconditionally loving. I couldn't see past my wounds and what I wanted. But I had so much love all the time. She was doing the best with her anxiety, her mental health, which was challenged with my dad's mental health, and their dynamic made it worse most of the time, I think. And her hobbies. She was juggling her hobbies and her work, running a business herself, and making sure that my dad was all right, that I was all right, and she came last. And that's something. What the fuck is that? I think that's a lizard. And that's something that I also inherited to put myself last, just by seeing how my mother loved. Um, and I got to see that through inner child healing because we see our parents and our parents' shadows and our light as we heal our inner child. But, anyways, inner child healing has been profound for me because it allowed me to accept my mom for who she is and how she is. Of course, I love her very, very deeply. I don't love all the things she does. That comes with irritation and frustration. And, seeing where we're different as well as where we're similar. It's a whole package, man. It's a whole fucking package. But I'm so grateful for her. And not projecting this idealized version of her onto her allowed me to see her clearly and also have a better relationship with her, appreciate her more. And it also opened my heart and let me let go of perfectionism, learn to accept people for who they are, and also to love people for who they are. And of course, I don't have to love everybody. Doesn't mean I love everybody, but I'm just saying. Also, projections lead to so much suffering. And when I was projecting this idea of who she needed to be onto her, there's so much suffering and anger, resentment. But once I could just see her for her, of course, sometimes, I'd be triggered. But when I can calm down and see her and not really tie like wounded stories into her actions or what she's doing or into her, it became much more easy to just let her be and to experience love through our connection. Is there anything more I want to add? When we think we don't have something, we can idealize about things. What we want, how we want, how we would feel if we had that something. And yeah, that can be a helpful tool to help you imagine what you want to experience and feel into what you want to experience. But it can also take you from seeing what's right in front of you and projecting unhappiness onto your life, onto people. That kind of just creates a cycle of negativity and unhappiness. Check in with yourself and see what projections you're holding. And, accept what you actually did want. You can do that for your inner child. You can have a conversation with your inner child. Ask what they wanted in certain situations that come up where your inner child comes up. Accept it, and you can give that to them. Your parents may not be able to love you exactly the way you want, but you can love yourself exactly the way you want. First and foremost. And as you do so, you'll find yourself projecting less and less onto your parents of what you want them to be like, how you want them to show you love. Accept what they're capable of, what they're not capable of. See them for them and still experience love and gratitude for their being. Again, don't rush the process. This is a process. And it will really help you connect deeply and deeply with yourself. Cultivate a very deep connection with your inner child. But yeah, I hope there's something for you in this video. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And I think I'm going to go take a break. I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching all the way through and being here.